Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the LOI Talk podcast. Toss Bakely, a gum and you. I have my glasses on today for a change. Um, we're absolutely delighted to be joined by Rachael Kelly of Bohemians today. Um, it's always so great to have players on from the league, and Rachel's doing really well with Bows at the moment. They're on an absolutely great form, so it's fantastic. I'm also joined by Luke and Cornell. So lads, thanks all so much for coming on. We've a good panel today. Rachel, firstly, how are things? Thank you so much for coming on.
No problem. Thanks, Emil, for having me. Yeah, everything has gone great at the minute. Like you said, we're on a really good run at the minute, so it's just kind of keeping that momentum going.
Absolutely, no, you are going really well. I know you got a good. We had a few of our correspondents at the UCD Bowl there in your game against DLR Waves, and you got a really good win. So well done. Hopefully onwards and upwards for yourself and your career now, and everyone else at Bowes. Just the first question we have there: what would be the earliest memory of playing football as a child growing up for you?
Yeah, so my earliest memory definitely be with my brother. My brother was a big football head, and he certainly needed someone to stand in goal and maybe not get in the way of his shots, but certainly just to have a statue in goal. So it would definitely be out the back with my brother, kicking the ball about and just having a laugh.
Brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, no, I think a lot of people can relate to that. Having a sibling or a father or mother figure always helps when you're playing sports. Did you play any other sports growing up as a child, or was it only just the soccer?
And no, I was a sporty kid, so it was the soccer, but also the Gaelic as well. We done a good bit in school. It was kind of whatever was going, you kind of just get involved in. So we even had a bit of badminton and everything. But no, I played for O'Toole's GAA club, just to be my local one, when I was a kid until the training session started to clash, and then I had to choose which one. So up until then, it was the football and the GAA. Enjoyed them both. They were brilliant, certainly for making new friends and even just growing up and physically and stuff. It was really good.
That's fantastic. Yeah, as I say, we've had a lot of players on now at this stage, and a lot of them seem to have GA backgrounds, which is fantastic. I think it's good to have a few sports growing up, rather than just sticking to the one. So that's really brilliant. Um, Growing up, and maybe you kind of already answered this one, but who would have been the biggest influence on your career, whether that be a player you love watching or someone else close to you?
Yeah, so obviously my brother has a massive influence on my career, and so does my dad. Um, Both really, really love football. I think they'd watch any match that was on the telly. So there's a big love for football in the house anyway. So growing up with that, it certainly influences you. But they've been with me every step of the way. And like really supporting me. So it's been brilliant. My brother's a Liverpool fan, so obviously he'd had the likes of Steven Gerrard when he was growing up, and Pepe Reina in goal and stuff like that. And my dad's a massive Leeds fan, so there was always football on the house. So them two have definitely influenced me a lot. And looking at the players that they would have watched is brilliant, and to see how the times have changed already, all these new footballers coming up.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, no, that's brilliant. You're talking to a couple of Liverpool fans here as well, so that's great stuff. Playing
Brilliant.
through the underage. Sorry, yeah, they're going very well at the moment. Playing through the underage ranks was that always a goal of yours to get to League of Ireland level?
Yeah, I mean, look, when you first started, when I was younger, there probably was no League of Ireland as such for the women's team. So it was the Women's National League, and you're only really kind of knowing of that when you were 15, 16. Until then, you just kind of play what was in front of you. So, of course, when it comes to your site and you can see the interest, then that's always the goal. So, I'm absolutely delighted that I'm able to play in League of Ireland. It's grown ever so quickly. So, what a time to be involved as well.
Yeah, 100%. That's fantastic. Um, did you play in other positions in the field before deciding on being a goalkeeper? And was there any reason you chose like goalie in the end?
Yeah, I used to be a midfielder. I kind of played anywhere. But I suppose what we used to do was we used to play half and half. Myself and Chloe, who actually plays for Dublin at the minute, we do half and half, half in, half out. So that was really good. But I suppose when you get to an age where you have to pick, I don't know, must have been a mad time for me to pick being a goalkeeper, but that was the one that kind of my heart went with. So ever since then, you just keep going with it and stuff. But yeah, you certainly have to be mad or a bit of crazy to be a goalkeeper. You're getting in front of the ball that everyone's kicking away. So
That's very true. Yeah, I know it takes a lot of grit to be a keeper. Like it's a tough position and it's an underrated position probably. So hope fair play for choosing that one. Um, you've represented your country underage as well. Have you any memories that stand out from your experiences traveling across the world?
yeah, I mean, I think that's given me the best memories. Certainly I made the best friends as well doing that. But I think the best memory is probably when we qualified for the European finals. And again, it was probably in a time where there wasn't as much interest in the women's sport. So we had to back ourselves and, we had to believe in ourselves and we got there as a team and as a squad. So it was absolutely brilliant. But like I said, playing for your country underage, it gave me so many memories and they're all absolutely brilliant. And it's given me some best friends for life who I've got to play with now in Bow. So it's brilliant. And my mom and dad used to travel and watch me all around different countries and stuff, and to see how proud they were, it was amazing to be honest.
Yeah, I can only imagine how amazing it must be to play for your country. You should be very proud of that, and hopefully you've many more caps to come. I'm gonna pass you over now to our Kerry correspondent, the Cub. So go ahead there, Luke, with your questions.
Well, Rachel, what's the crack?
Hey Luke, how are you?
I saw you were captain last year, Bose, and I was just curious, just on the captaincy, like how it might have matured you as a player, and just what the overall experience of captaining one of the biggest teams in Ireland was like.
Yeah, I certainly always say it's a massive thing to captain Bows, like you said, one of the biggest teams in Ireland. So certainly it's a big privilege, but also you do have to mature very quickly. A lot of captains are probably a bit older and stuff, so for me to go in there, you kind of learn on the job, and you might annoy and upset a couple of people, but everyone knows like that your heart's in the right place and what you want to get out of it as a team and stuff is the end goal. So it's been a massive challenge and it has its ups and downs, like everything I think in football, but it's certainly made me a more mature player and a better understanding for different types of people on the pitch.
Yeah. In 2020, you made your debut with Shells. Since then, have you seen a big improvement in the promotion around women's football in Ireland and just the general level of play of it?
Oh, absolutely. It's day and night. I mean, when I was younger, no one would know you had a game. And there was no coverage. It was just you, the girls, and the management team, and your family probably knew. But I mean, the promotion now that the league's getting is absolutely brilliant. The quality and levels of the players coming through the ranks now, you can really see that the grassroots football, and we know that that's where it all begins. It's definitely improving, and there is a lot more that it needs to do. But the talent coming through. I mean, look at our team. You have Ava Brennan, Hannah Healy. They're all flying and they're still so young. So to see the types of players coming through and the promotion wise, it's absolutely brilliant to be involved in. And it's certainly something new that the players probably aren't kind of too sure about. So there is times where you have to be like, just block out the noise and focus on the game. And to have to say that is brilliant. I mean, our semi final against Shells 2 weeks ago, that was the main message, was just play the game. And the fact we were able to say that and stuff is brilliant. So yeah, to see the league grow and keep growing, I think it's been a massive achievement from everyone involved in that.
Curiosity question mainly. You started off playing with Shells in the League of Ireland. How did the move come about to switching across to Bohemians?
Yeah, I was in the academy through Sheldon and really enjoyed my time there and stuff. And I actually moved over to Sweden for 6 months. An opportunity came up to play football over there. So I took it with both hands. It was during a COVID time. No one was sure what was going on. And then when I came home, I had a couple of options. I just went up training with a couple of different teams and just kind of chose bows then. It wasn't there was nothing else to it. It was kind of just, yeah, just wanted to a kind of new chapter and go from it for there.
Just in the women's football, it's great to see like a All Ireland Cup that unites the North and the Republic. Um, Being more involved in the men's league myself, I think it would be great to see that. How does that help promote the level of soccer of women's on the island of Ireland?
Yeah, like you said, it's probably two birds, one stone type of thing because you have the whole island looking at it and the interest has just gone up. Now I'd say it probably would be more difficult to get it into a men's kind of schedule, and we play a lot less games in the league as the men, so we do have the capacity to get an extra competition in there. But the coverage that you get, because like I said, only a couple of weeks ago we played Glentoran for the first time. We've never played them, so even to see their facilities, how they work, and the coverage was brilliant as well. So it just, I think it just adds a lot of interest from different parts of the country, which is the main thing, and it's more eyes on us. So no, it's absolutely brilliant competition, and probably doesn't get the recognition it deserves, but it's certainly getting there. It's only its third year, so it'll keep growing for sure.
And this isn't to do with Bohemians, but Athlone Town are doing great in their Champions League qualifiers. How important is it for fans of women's soccer around the whole country to get behind the team, regardless of who they support?
Yeah, Athlone have done absolutely brilliant, and to see the crowds they've got in for the two games was unbelievable. They're representing Ireland and the League of Ireland so well, so we're all backing them. I think they know that. We've probably all reached out to them and wished them the best of luck. So it is certainly important to want to promote the league and stuff, and they're doing a phenomenal job, like I said. So hopefully that journey continues, and we certainly wish them the best of luck going forward with it.
And we spoke to Avian Clancy before, and she was in college herself. How hard is it to juggle, like you're working now, how hard is it to juggle work and also playing at the same time?
Yeah, it's probably really difficult. I'm full time civil servant, so it's certainly a lot that it works out well. Obviously, that you have your weekends and stuff, and you're not on shift work. But I mean, yesterday, for example, when we were traveling to Waterford, we were leaving at 3 o'clock. Like, and it's really difficult for the girls to manage their days around that and making sure that they have enough energy to keep going. So nutrition and sleep is certainly a massive kind of aspect for us because of how busy the days are.
And just one last question for me, really. Um, if there was a young girl watching now who's only playing under 14 and 15, what would your one piece of advice be for her to get to the level that you're at?
And first of all, don't give up. It may not happen your first or second try, but keep on working hard. Use all the kind of people around you to lean on, and just never give up. It may not happen right now, but it'll certainly happen once you keep working hard and push yourself forward and have the right people around you. Absolutely.
That's all for me. Thank
Um,
you very much, Ray.
th- Thanks a million, Luke. We'll go to Cornell there. Do you have any questions for Rachel yourself, Cornell?
Yes. Good evening again, once again, Rachel. Fantastic to have you on the League of Ireland Talk podcast show. Absolutely amazing. Loving the hard work that you do for Bohemians and the run that your team is on. My first question is, who was your favorite World Cup player growing up as a child? Who you watched?
Yeah, so I kind of have a couple because like I say, my brother's such a mad Liverpool fan. So I certainly grew up when Steven Gerrard was a massive figure in football. So I think he was certainly one of them. But goalkeeping wise, it was certainly be Pepe Reina and Casillas. And as I got a little bit older, then it was more of the modern new footballers. But yeah, growing up as a kid, you'd have to definitely be the Gerrard and Pepe Reina and stuff. That was all that was around me. And unfortunately, wasn't much coverage of the women in sports. So hopefully today now young girls can look up to the likes of Katie McCabe and stuff. But when I was younger, there just wasn't that coverage there, so it was certainly a male figure.
And then my second question, Rachel, is do you think I don't know if you watched the women's Euros. Do you think that seeing like England win the well, she's gone. Are you still there, Rachel?
No, she's still there. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
back.
Sorry.
I'm back.
Okay.
No worries.
I don't know what happened there. I don't know what's going on. My second question was, I don't know if you watched the Euro final. Do you think
Yeah.
seeing like England win the Euros once again, do you think it's really inspiring young girls to really take up women's football and really show that they have the power to break down barriers and really show that they can play brilliant football wherever they go, whichever team that they decide to play for? What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, the Euros was a brilliant competition. And like you said, I think the English team are really, really good ambassadors for young kids because it, time and time again they prove that they can break down those barriers they were talking about. And I think you see they're quite a resilient squad because I think stuff had happened in camp and they still kind of didn't let it get to them. They kept going even when things weren't going their way, they kept fighting and you could see the result in the end. And I think that's a massive kind of advantage and kind of plus that they have because, like I said, young girls watching that just see a bunch of heroes fighting for their country, and you see it for ourselves when we play. Here in Tallaght, our girls in green, like that's what they do. They fight for the badge constantly and they back each other and you can see how proud all of our girls are to play for their country. So if you're a young kid looking at that, you definitely want to play, you want to be there, you want to be the next kind of, like I said, Courtney Brosnan or Katie McCabe. So I think it's those figures are massive influences and the ambassadors are just fantastic. We probably couldn't have asked for better. Um and the time of day that the women footballers give the kids and stuff, and I think they have a lot more personal time with them because they do have that kind of staying back afterwards, signing the autographs, having the chats, and really getting to know them. So it's amazing to see, and like I said, brilliant ambassadors for their country.
My third question is what's it like being on top of the world with Bohemians, and do you expect your team to go on and win the League of Ireland women's title? What is your opinions on this?
Yeah, I mean, at the minute, we're like we said, we couldn't have asked for better. But I think at the start of the year, it was really, we were getting to know each other, we're getting different relationships on the pitch and stuff. So we needed that time to just gel and come together as a team. And we've seen it in the past 7 weeks that it's coming there, it's getting there. And probably the biggest highlight was the semi final against Shell because we're now on our first cup final as a team and uh even just as Bows women. So this club is massive, like we've said. So we certainly want to be in all those finals. We want to be reaching the top. And we want to keep promoting the women's football and inspire the next generation. That's certainly our goal as a team and as a squad. And I think Bows do amazing work in the community as well. So when we put all that together and we get the rewards, we'll certainly be happy. But it's about putting more demands on each other and just training sessions just become more demanding and our standards are raised and stuff. So yeah, this is only going one way for us and that's up, please God. So I think we'll certainly get there, and when we do, we can enjoy it then.
And my fourth question is, who's the biggest rivals that you've played against in the League of Ireland?
Sorry, just broke up there. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Let me ask it again. Who is your your greatest rival that you've played against? In the League of Ireland this season, and why?
Well, certainly team wise, it would be Shells. Um, I think obviously two Dublin teams will always be that, but I think the competition that we've had this year and the games, we've had completely separate games every time we've played them. Really exciting, really thrilling games, and it comes with different tests every time we play them. So it'll certainly be shells in the team, and we do have a couple of ex-shells players on the team and stuff, so it always adds that bit of feistiness and that kind of derby feel to it. But with the most respect that we give each other as well, because everything that happens on the pitch, it stays on the pitch. We've played with a lot of those girls, and I grew up playing with them. So yeah, but this year the matches and the competitiveness and stuff has been probably a different level than previous years.
And then my fifth question is: do you think because the League of Ireland is getting so much attraction and its popularity is rising up the top now, do you think the
Mhm.
League of Ireland has come as a league has come a long way or not? What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, it absolutely has. I mean, for like the women's side, as I was saying earlier, you wouldn't even know there was a game. So on the women's side of things, it's grown massively. And there's still room for improvement. Absolutely. We haven't got there yet, but from where it was to where it is, and to do it in a sustainable way, and we'll certainly find a way. And I think every player in the league will promote as much as we can, and we'll get involved in absolutely everything that the league could throw at us. So, for the women's point of view, certainly there's ground to make up, and we are probably a couple of years behind where we want to be, but we're doing it and we're certainly getting there. And I mean, from the men's point of view, it's sellout signs every week. It's fantastic to see, when a couple of us will go to the men's games up in Bowes, like, and the atmosphere, and you, you can't get a ticket, you have people asking anyone selling tickets and stuff, and that's the way the league should be. So it's amazing to see, and there's certainly room for improvement on the men's side too. But to see those sellout signs every week, it's brilliant, and then that will hopefully get more interest into our own league too.
And then my sixth question: um, do you see yourself being like selected to play for Ireland in the World Cup and the Euros when that comes up soon?
I think that's always the dream. And I've no problem saying that the dream is certainly to represent your country at a senior level, and I'll do absolutely everything possible and work really, really hard, and you know do everything I can. But if it's meant to happen, it'll certainly happen. But yeah, it's definitely the dream. But I'll just keep working hard, and hopefully.
And then my seventh question is, um, who do you think will win the League of Ireland in the Premier Division in the men's team? Do you see it being Shamrock Rovers go on and win the League of Ireland title, or do you think Bohemians can still like challenge for the League of Ireland title and cause an upset? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, there is probably a gap to make up now between Rovers and Bows. But look, we'll always say it. We'd always love to see Bows doing it, obviously. And I would love for it, to get tasty and go down to the last game, and it could be like a last minute winner, that like Premier League stuff when Aguero scored that goal. But I'm I'm not too sure now with the gap. It is getting a little bit wider, but we can always hope that Bows will certainly be up there, and I think Europe is definitely a priority for us.
How would you like feel if say for example like Bohemians couldn't challenge for the title, and obviously like Shamrock Rovers are really cruising away with it at the moment with being going 10 points clear. Do you do
hmm
you do you still believe that like Bohemians can go and get you and fight for Europe, or do you think what's your thoughts on it?
And yeah, no, I think both can definitely fight for Europe. And the men's league is obviously different to ourselves. We only have one spot, and that's for the winner of the league. So both men's can certainly fight for Europe. I don't see why not. The squad they have is unbelievable. The talent within, like, Dawson Devine, and it's great to see. So the talent is there, and the squad is certainly there. So there's definitely no reason why they can't. So yeah.
And then also, if say for example, like Bowes did go on and beat Shamrock Rovers to the title, would you go and like celebrate with them on the pitch, or would you just like stay back?
No, I think we'd stay back. Certainly, just stay back and let them have their moment. Absolutely.
I know what you're thinking, John. You're thinking, oh my days, why is Cornell asking that random question? Honestly,
Nah, it's okay. That's perfect. That's perfect. No worries at all. Rachel, thank you so much. It's been absolutely fantastic. Do you have anything you'd like to say to the viewers as we close the interview?
And no, just want to say thanks a million for having me on, and again get that more exposure onto the women's side. So thanks a million, lads.
Not at all. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been absolutely fantastic. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No
Thanks.
problem. Thanks a mil.
thanks,
Not at all.
Rachel.
Okay. Right, so lads, that brings us on to the review of games part of the podcast. So to just review the games, that was a really good interview, Rachel. There, I hope everyone enjoyed. Thanks a million to the two lads as well for their questions. Just so obviously there was a couple of games this weekend, more than there has been because there's been Europe. Obviously, it was a pretty packed weekend. So we had Cork City, Galway. We had Bohs against Drogheda. We had Sligo against Shelburne. We had Waterford against St. Pat's, and Shamrock Rovers against Derry City. So just to open it up to start off, the title of last week's episode obviously was "It Can't Go On Like This for Cork City," and we were right. A first win for the Rebel Army, thanks be to God, since Easter. Is it too little, too late to avoid a drop? It's obviously a big ask. But the big question out of this game as well is what has happened to Galway United. You know, Galway have absolutely, you know, they're really struggling at the moment. I think they're now without a win in 7 or 8. So yeah, it's not going good at all there for them. We'll go to Cornell first. Cornell, what did you make of this one?
What I made of this one, I am very, very pleased for Cork City. Cork City, you know, really deserve to go on and win this game because you can clearly see with the form that they haven't been in great form at all this season. Cork City have really struggled so hard, you know, with the losses of Daniels, the losses of Truce, the injury to Keating, Maguire coming in and out of the team. That really hasn't really helped, and you know he can only come on and make the huge impact despite that. You know they're still monitoring his minutes. Cathy O'Sullivan, you know, out now with an ACL injury, which is not a very great sign. You know they deserve to go on and win, and they showed their true quality against Galway United. You know, Galway United just haven't been good enough at all, and they haven't gone out and replaced Moses Dyer, you know, despite Moses Dyer still holds that goal scoring record of 10 goals this season. And, you know, you do worry for Galway United, you know, what happens if they can't get any results in, then I think John Carfield's job will be on the line, and I think he will feel the pressure. But look, listen, I think Cork City can be very, very proud of themselves, and they really worked very hard and they never gave up. The hard working effort was really put on the pitch, and you know, I'm so pleased for them. So they deserve it.
I think you have to feel for John Caulfield because he plays such dire football that fans love him when he's getting results. But as soon as it goes any bit bleak, you're in any bit of a bad run of form, fans seem to come for his head because it's such bad football to watch. I'm saying that because I can remember that exactly happening firsthand when he was Cork City manager. So yeah, I think if they do go down, I think they will probably look to replace him. Even though, to be fair to him, he's done incredible work there at Galway. You know, they were very much a first division team for a long time, and he's kind of solidified them again as a Premier side. So yeah, it would be a shame for him if they had to let him go. But I think obviously they're in a really bad run of form at the minute. We'll go to Luke there. Luke, what did you think of this one?
Yeah, as you know, I'm more of a first division man now with Kerry, but I'll be keeping a close eye on Cork City as well. And like they scored so early, we were kind of just waiting for Galway to score then. But like you say, the way that Galway play football is just pretty much get the work done. So they don't seem to have any like plan B when it all goes wrong. And we were speaking about just in our group chat ourselves, just about the pressure that is on John Caulfield. And I think what will make really interesting now is just the fact that it is Sligo and Galway kind of fighting to not be ninth. So the next Connacht derby will be really interesting. And you were talking, was it too little too late for Cork City? I reckon so, just with the form that Sligo are on themselves. But again, you never know. But I think Galway will have enough to push on again. Obviously, the results haven't been there recently, but from what I remember, just when they were down in Kerry, like they're one of the best teams around. And they did well last season when they went up, and this season was going not too bad as well. But they seem to just have hit a roadblock here nearly now with these last few weeks. So I think it'd just be really telling now for the next game how they actually go about it, because it is always tough, like when you have to go back from a loss against a team that you'd probably be expecting to win against. But it'll be an interesting one anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks a million, Luke. So the next game is Bohs 0, Drogheda United 1. Drogheda made their return to league action with a winning one. With a 86-minute winner from Josh Thomas, who helped them secure all 3 points. Obviously, Douglas James Taylor left Bohs for Drogheda. So you know that he maybe he's regretting that move now. Probably not. His bank account probably isn't, but anyway. Are Bohemians' title dreams over now? A lot of people are saying that Drogheda play puke football. Is that something the two of you would agree with? So it's a fairly bleak state of affairs for Bohs. Like they've done so well this season. You know, they've got such elite players by the standard, like your Dawson Device of this world, etc. But they just can't seem to get it over the line, unfortunately. And they've given Shamrock Rovers a massive advantage now. We'll go to Cornell there first.
First of all, absolutely gutted for Bohemians losing to Drogheda. Honestly, listen, Drogheda deserved the win. They did Shamrock Rovers a favour, and that was to beat Bohemians and make sure that Shamrock Rovers go 10 points clear at the top of the table. Do I think Drogheda played puke football? I tend to disagree. Look, they were the better team than Bohemians. Bohemians wasn't good enough, and Bohemians had the game in their hands, and that was to go into the Drogheda game and go on and win that game and put pressure on Shamrock Rovers. Drogheda played amazing football. They worked hard. They gave absolute 100% effort in that game versus Bowes. I watched that game. I watched the highlights on YouTube, and I saw the way that Drogheda was playing, and they were playing absolutely well, because playing against them is not easy. It's very, very difficult to play against Drogheda. And look, Bohemians will feel that they could have maybe salvaged a point or try and go on and get the winner. But I mean, to score the winner in the last minute, because I thought for 1 second that it was just going to be a draw, and probably a draw might not be enough. But Drogheda worked hard. They worked very, very hard. So I mean, that was not puke football, and I disagree with that. Drogheda worked very hard in that game from start to finish. Bohemians just wasn't good enough, and they know that, and they could see that was a failure there to go and capitalize on putting pressure on Shamrock Rovers. So I'm very pleased for Drogheda.
Brilliant, yeah, great analysis. Well done in the pronunciation as well, because we had some people giving out about that last week, so that's really well done. But no, I think you're totally right though. Like Drogheda have a certain way of playing, but at the end of the day, you have to look at the budget as well. It's hard to play champagne football when you've got such a low budget. So yeah, they've really dug in and got with an impressive 3 points against Bohs, one of the better teams in the league. Next result is Sligo Rovers 0, Shelburne 2. Shelburne also marked their return to the LOI with winning ways, with a comfortable 2-0 win against an in-form Sligo Rovers. Second half goals, from Ali Coote and Sean Boyd, helping Shelburne to 3 points. And Sligo finished the game with 10 players. Sam Sargent seeing red for 5 minutes from full time. It's a really good win for Shells. They've been performing well in Europe. Well, I mean, they were poor against Carabag, but they were good over 2 legs against Linfield. But Carabag are a very good side as well. You know, they've reached Europa Leagues over the years. I think they were even in the Champions League one year, so they are a good side. It's an impressive little win there for Shells. But Sligo still are in a great position to at least get that 9th spot. So we'll just see how it goes. We'll go to Cornell first.
My thoughts on Sligo winning, losing against Shelburne wasn't great, but look, Shelburne played really well, despite that they lost in Europe, and right now they have the chance to go on and have an amazing European Cup run. This was very important for Shelburne to go on and win this game. They played extremely well. Ali Coote, brilliant again. Boyd, as I've been saying, I've always wanted to see Boyd and Meepo link up together. Despite that we always see Martin and Boyd linked together. But look, I think Shelburne will be very proud of themselves that they got the win. And, they worked hard for it. They gave everything that they had, just like how Sligo did try, and they tried their best. But when you're playing against Shelburne, it's not that easy. Look, Sligo again, they've been in decent, very good form. They've brought in some very good quality. John Russell has really looked at this team, and I think they're on course to really finish for 9th. It would be nice for them to get into the mid-table spots as well. But look, I think Shells can be very proud of themselves, and O'Brien he's got more work to do. He's got to work hard and know his starting 11, know who his best 11 is. I mean, look, I think they'll definitely get into into the mid-table ish, and I think once O'Brien knows his starting 11 and his team, then I think we'll see the very best of Shelburne once again. But Sligo, listen, I think it's commiserations to them, but I think they can be very proud of themselves. That I think, they didn't get the result, but one thing I think they will bounce back, and I think will be the very best of Sligo.
Good man. Thanks a million, Cornell. Great analysis. So, sorry, Luke, do you have any thoughts at all in that game?
Just briefly, obviously you're talking about Europe as well, and people always kind of comment how it can be tough to juggle 2 competitions, even if it's the likes of Liverpool playing. People seem to expect less in a league performance. But obviously when the reigning champions are going across to Sligo, you're expecting really Shelburne to prevail, and they did. But as you said, at halftime, I think Sligo had been fairly confident in what they'd done so far. But it all just seemed to unravel a bit once the first goal went in. It was almost just waiting for the second one as well. So for Sligo, I think it's just about kind of forgetting about this one now, moving on to this Friday again, because they were on such good form, and you don't want it to dip, because after Cork City beating Galway, the pressure's kind of on them to keep pushing on, because if you start to dip in form in the league, it can collapse very quickly. I know very well from down in Kerry FC, we were in the playoff push, and all of a sudden we lost one game, then there was another, and suddenly that turns into 5 league losses in a row, and it can all fall apart very quickly. But for Shelburne, it's about just getting points on the board and trying to get up higher, challenge more for Europe, and hope that Rovers maybe slip. But I think they might be out of it this year, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks a million, Luke. Good comparison there, Kerry. So next game is Waterford up against St. Patrick's Athletic. An early Mason Media strike followed by Conor Carty 5 minutes from full time sent St. Pat's supporters home with 3 points on Sunday evening. Waterford now have 3 defeats in their last 5 games. kind of questionable form, I suppose you could say, and it seemed like they didn't really put much of a challenge to St. Pat's, who have been like vulnerable this season. So perhaps Waterford are a team that needs to watch out. But we'll go to Cornell there first. What do you think of this one?
What I think of this one is amazing win for St. Pat's again. Melia and Carty getting on the goals. We're seeing the very best of Carty as well, and we're seeing the best of Melia. I think the way that St. Pat's went about their game was that they worked very hard to get the win, and they showed the quality and the class that they are of the team. Yes, they have been vulnerable this season, and injuries have really exploited that, and obviously Stephen Kenny being under pressure as well, not knowing his starting 11. But I think as it's now gone by on, we're seeing Stephen Kenny know his starting 11. We're seeing players come back from injury, and we're seeing the very best of St. Pat's. And I think the boost from Europe has really helped St. Pat's really continue their amazing winning form. As for Waterford, on the other hand, who's had 3 defeats this season, it's not a very good sign for Waterford, despite that Almond and Longeren have been in amazing form as both goal scoring machines. But the fact of the matter is, I think Waterford needs to get back to winning ways and to get back to their best, and because we all know how fantastic Waterford are as a team. They are an amazing underdog team that never gives up and never backs down. But obviously with the season, obviously with 9 games to go now until the end of the season, you're thinking, well, I think Waterford can not avoid getting into that playoff relegation sort of fight. I think if they can really move up the table and go in mid-table, and then I think Joe Coleman can really look at this team and see what type of players he needs to bring in over when the season's done. But look, listen, St. Pat's have deserve this win, and they deserve to go on and really take that confidence into Europe and really have an amazing cup run. So fantastic for St. Pat's, man.
Perfect. Thanks a million, Cornell. Luke, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Not too many myself, really. But just for Waterford to look at the bottom of the table there, like 3 of the bottom 4 teams are the last 3 teams up in the first division. And it's often an issue that I bring up in our former X-Space, is just about how teams that move up from the first division just seem to come straight back down. But when you see 3/4 of the bottom 4 being former first division teams, and very recently as well, it kind of brings a bit of worry into you just about what they can actually provide. And maybe Dundalk next year, if they get up, it could be a different story. But Waterford and Galway now will be getting a bit nervous with Sligo picking up form. Cork City pretty much done and dusted, I think, at this point. So to be able to achieve league wins while also performing well in Europe is no easy feat, really. So I think fair play to them. Looking forward to fight it again now, and the likes of Galway will pick up the form again.
Perfect. Thanks a million, Luke. I apologize. I apologize for my unprofessionalism there. It's just Luke really sounded like Sean Dyche there, because I think the software.
Yeah, he sounded like the voice of Sean Dyche there. Yeah,
Sean Dyche, yeah. But that's okay. That's no problem. Yeah, I'm just going to throw you on mute for a second, Luke, if you don't mind. Or sorry, do you have something to say?
Is it like coming up now, or what's going on?
Yeah, we can hear. We can make out what you're saying. It's just you sound literally like Sean Dyche. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely Sean Dyche right there.
I'm going to try and leave there and find a better one.
No problem. See, the only problem is when you aren't talking, it's really distracting. But when you're talking, it's fine. So if you want to say, like, you don't even have to leave or anything. If you want to say something, just unmute your mic and say it. But if you're not talking, I might just keep you on mute if that's okay. Yeah. So, well, we're actually, we have one more first or Premier Division game That's Shamrock Rovers against Derry City. This was a bit of a title race clash. The final game of the weekend, Shamrock Rovers coasted to a 2-0 victory over 10-man Derry City. That's surely, I would imagine, the title race done for 2025. You know what I mean? It's a great win for Rovers. Like, they absolutely just to convincingly beat a team like Derry like that, who have been in such good form. You know, I know they're at home, to be fair, but still, it's very, very impressive. And yeah, I think they did very well. Cornell, do you have any thoughts yourself on this one?
Yeah, Shamrock Rovers, again, what a win for them, to win against Derry, despite Derry going down to 10 men. This was one of the most brutal games that I've ever watched and ever seen. I think Shamrock Rovers played absolutely well. They showed their class, they showed their quality, they were fantastic going forward. They really caused Derry a lot of problems going forward. We expect Derry to be in and around the title race, and as well as Bowes. But look, I think Shamrock Rovers showed why they deserve to be champions and win it for a 5th consecutive time this season, because of the quality of the players that they have. You know, when you've got Noonan in there, you've got Green, you've got Burke, you've got Watts in that midfield. Of course, you've got the new signings of Callum Houlihan in there as well. You know, this is the reason why they are top of the table, for a reason. They're not top of the table because they want to. They are top of the table because they're showing their class and they're showing their quality. And, you know, they're showing that they can be a team that no one doesn't want to be playing in the League of Ireland. As for Derry, look, Derry City have made some good signings as well too. You know, bringing Akemi into the fold, bringing Fleming into the fold, I think is very, very good signings. But if you want to beat down this Shamrock Rovers team and you want to stand up to them, you've got to play better. And Derry will feel heartbroken that they didn't play very well. And Shamrock Rovers was way on top. So, you know, look, this is the reason why, you know, I've always said that Shamrock Rovers will be champions this season, and because of their form. So I think for me, this is the reason that they showed Derry, well, you cannot catch us. So it's going to be very interesting in how the title running is. Do I think the title race is over from since August? I believe it is, because Shamrock Rovers are showing the quality that we expect them to be. They're bringing in, Bradley is bringing in players that he feels that can really make a huge impact. Yeah, we did question them, of how, when are we going to see the very best, the dominance of Shamrock Rovers once again? Are we going to see that again? We are seeing that right now. We're seeing them perform from home and away, week in and week out, all the time. So this is the reason why I said Shamrock Rovers are amazing to watch. And I think Shamrock Rovers will definitely win their 5th consecutive League of Ireland title once again. And I think a fantastic win once again.
Thanks a million, Cornell. We've got the call back. Great stuff. I don't think it's sounding as bad as it was before. Do you want to just speak there to test it out, Mr. Deutsch?
Sorry, there we go.
That's much better now. No worries at all. That's perfect now. Unfortunately, we've lost Sean, but we've got the Cubs. So it's all the better. It's all the one. Okay, great stuff. We're going to move on to the First Division review now. So I'll just quickly take you through the kind of the results, and Luke will give a proper review then. Bray had to come back from behind to defeat 10-man Treaty United 3-2 at the Carlisle grounds. Kerry FC demolished at Lone Town at Mount Hall Park with a 4-0 win. Didn't actually realise that. Well done, lads. Wexford picked up an important 3 points in the playoff race as they defeated Finn Harps 2-1. Dundalk continued their title charge with a 1-0 win away to UCD. And Cove Ramblers continued to hunt Dundalk down with a 3-1 win at home at Longford Town. Then we go on to the Monday games. We had 2 of our correspondents, Jamie and Keane, at this one. A Munster derby that won't be remembered for the football, that was played as a late own goal earned Kerry FC a 1-1 point away to Treaty United. It took a 98-minute equaliser for Bray to snatch a point away to Finn Harps. The game finished 2-2. UCD come from behind to defeat Athlone Town 2-1. And massive wins for Cove Ramblers and Dundalk, as Cove defeated Wexford 4-0 and Dundalk defeated Langford Town 4-1. Luke, we'll go to you there for your kind of synopsis of the first division. Not bad for Kerry FC, a 4-0 win and a 1-1 draw. I think you'd be pretty happy with that, but we'll go to you there anyway.
Yeah, just from KFC perspective, we were 5 league losses in a row, and it was looking very bleak because when Colin first came in, he was looking very good and just seemed to dip in form. That was more in the process of him building his own team, and now he seems to actually have solidified a common enough starting 11. He's brought in a new keeper and new striker as well, and we beat Athlone in the cup there. It took extra time, but we got it done. And then that kind of seemed to spur on the team. And we faced Athlone then, literally 14 days later, I think. And we were wondering now, maybe they're going to come down here with a bit more intensity, but it's the complete opposite. Because I'd say that Athlone were the better team in the cup, but we demolished them there in Mount Dock Park recently. 4 goals for us is unheard of, really. I think it's our biggest ever competitive win. The closest we've come before that was probably 4-1 against Treaty, I think, in the Munster Senior Cup. But for the league to win 4-0, keep a clean sheet, Matthew Connor in goals, clean sheet in his debut against his former side. And then against Treaty, then Ewan Lee, a new signing as well, got his goal, which was basically a gift from the Treaty United defence, but you have to be there to take them, I suppose. And just more comment on the remainder of the league, then you're looking at what is a constantly moving bottom half and then a fairly solid top half. So Dundalk are yet to let up on their top position, but Cove are just 6 points off now, and Bray just 8 points off Dundalk. And with Bray picking up a bit more form now, they defied the hard way there against Treaty, as you said, but I think they're the best performing team in the league, but the points don't really reflect that, I guess. But you look at UCD, who were recently Premier Division, and they're looking to make a jump up. Treaty United in 5th, they'll be raring to go for those playoffs, but Wexford are still pushing on. But for Athlone, when we faced them there in the league recently, if they'd won that, then Kerry would only be a point off being bottom, but now all of a sudden there's that 7-point gap, and there's Longford in between us as well. For Finn Harps, it was a great result really to get a draw against Bray, but they come down now to Kerry FC next, and that long journey can really factor in. For Wexford, it's been a fairly mixed year, but I don't think they'll complain too much about where they are, and I'm sure they'll make a push for the playoffs later on. And just looking ahead to Friday, I think they'll see a lot of teams moving around, with this being the 3rd game in 7 days for all 10 teams in division. And Dundalk will be looking to just keep on that winning form, because, as you saw there, 4-1 win against Longford just really gives them their confidence back. We've been on the receiving end of 4 goals against Dundalk this year also. But with Cove and Bray on their tail, I think they'll be looking to up the performances, because the setup is Premier Division, Enda Minogue, one of the best keepers in the league, and they've Dean as well, and Darryl Horgan. There's players there that are the best in Ireland, really. And you look at Cove then and Bray, who seem to just have that little bit of quality lacking, and really then from there on down it's competitive enough, because Kerry are just 10 points off playoffs all of a sudden. But I think Kerry's season really just reflects the ever-changing nature of the league around, because just a game ago we were 5 league losses in a row, and now all of a sudden we're unbeaten in 3 of our last 4 games. So just never let your head fall down, really, when you're in the first division, because it can change very quickly, and vice versa. If you're on good form, you can't really take it for granted. But no, I think realistically Dundalk will hold on for first, and we'll have to wait and see then how the rest of the division follows.
Fantastic. Thanks a million, Luke. That's great analysis as always on the first division. So we've just got 2 topics left we've got to do a quick Premier Division preview, just a couple of Premier Division games, and then after that, we've got to do a final league table prediction. There's about 10 games, just over 10 games, I think, to go in the Premier Division. So we'll all be doing our best to give a prediction for that. First game is Drogheda against Waterford. I'll just name out all the games first. On Friday we have Drogheda against Waterford, Derry City against Cork City. Saturday we've Shelburne against Bohemians. Sunday we've Galway against Shamrock Rovers, and then also on Sunday St. Pat's against Sligo Rovers. So just to start off with Drogheda against Waterford, contrasting results last week for the two sides. Who is better equipped to get the 3 points? Look, you just don't know what Waterford this season. They've been very up and down, hot and cold. Drogheda have had an immense season, so this could really be, on paper, Drogheda should win it, but you just don't know what Waterford, and you kind of don't know what Drogheda either. They can be a little bit inconsistent themselves. I see this going. I think Drogheda win this 2-1, and could that, put Waterford in a bit of bother? Yeah, it'd be interesting. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts, but we'll go to Cornell there first.
This game I think is a must-win for Waterford. I think Waterford will want to bounce back after their previous game that they lost. I'm sure that that Coleman will be looking at this and thinking, well, I think this is an opportunity for Waterford to go on and win this game. As for Drogheda, I think Drogheda will be feeling very, very confident that they can go in and keep the momentum going. But you can't really tell with Drogheda because of how there's previous games they play well, and then the other game they don't play so well. So it's very, very difficult to tell with Drogheda, really, to be fair, and how Keith Doherty likes to set it up. But look, I think this game looks like it's going to be a draw for me, because I think you don't know what to expect from Drogheda, and you don't know what to expect from Waterford. So it's very, very difficult to say which out of Drogheda or Waterford is going to win. But I think for me, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a draw, because both teams are good. But look, I think I can see a draw in it. So 1-1.
Ideal. Thanks a million. We've lost Luke there, so we'll just drive on. Got Derry City now against Cork City. Cork City faced a long trip up to the brand new L to take on Derry City. Have they a chance of making it back-to-back wins for the first time this season? Look, this is going to be much more of a test than with respect to Galway were last week. Derry are a top side. I want to say they're third in the league, but they're arguably the second best team in the league this season. So it's going to be a tough one, to be fair. But yeah, I think, like, at the end of the day, look, if we can win this game, and it's unlikely, but if we can, I think that does put us back in the mix then, because it would put a real statement out to be beating a team like Derry. However, if we lose, even if it was a valiant loss, I just don't think there's much of a way back for us. But look, I've been saying it's been over since the Waterford game when we lost 2-1 there like a month ago. So, like, even a win isn't going to do much for us, but it just keeps it mathematically possible anyway. So it's an interesting one. Obviously from a Derry perspective, look, they have a really decent team up there. So it's going to be a tough one. But yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. Cornell, what do you think of this one?
What I think for this one, look, Derry versus Cork City. Cork City got their win in the previous game. They want to continue that momentum going into the Derry game. Derry City have been, very consistent this season. We're seeing the very best of Boyce at the moment with 8 goals this season, 9 goals for Derry this season. Akemi is linking up very well with Boyce up front, obviously as a replacement for Hoppen. Look, Cork City, they've been in an up and down sort of season. The losses haven't really helped them, draws haven't really helped them as such. And look, I would like to see Cork City go on and beat Derry and really have some sort of momentum going into this season in the League of Ireland. Look, I think Derry City have the quality, they have the class. When you've got Boyce in there, and you've got it's very, very difficult to really maintain Liam Boyce, like who's been banging in the goals. But Cork City, I mean, look, I think depending on what team that that Nash puts out, I think will be very interesting as well, and how you would like to start them up. But I would like to see Cork City get a win, and I think really just to take the pressure off Nash, really, because I think even if they lose, I mean, there might not be no way back, but I think it's very hard to tell with Cork City. So never rule out a win for Cork City against Derry.
Up and down season is being very polite. I think Jared Nash would be very happy to hear that, but yeah, I think that's being like polite for how bad our season's been. But look, I appreciate it. But yeah, no, look, we like in fairness, what I will say about Cork City this year is unless we played like Rovers, Shamrock Rovers, it's rare that we've been really hammered in the game. We're usually in games, we're usually losing 3-2 or drawing or like just keeping it nice and tight. So at least we're competitive, and yeah, there's like I think the last time we played Derry at home, we only lost 1-0, for example. So we lost 2-1 with it, like a last minute winner against them up in the Brandywed the last time I remember. So it's there. It's not like all hope is lost. Like, but and we have been competitive all season, whether it be under Tim Clancy or under Jared Nash. But it's just a case of not enough, not being able to close out games really. But anyway, to move on to the Saturday games, we've got Shelbourne against Bohemians. This is a big one. Shelbourne host Bohemians in Talca Park on Saturday night after their European adventure. How important is it for Shelbourne to keep getting points on the board in their race for Europe whilst also juggling the Europa League qualifiers? Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. Shells are in pretty good form in the grand scheme of things, and Bows are obviously off a very disappointing loss to Drogheda last week. So yeah, I don't have much insight, so I'll just go straight to Cornell there.
My views on Shelbourne versus Bohemians. Bohemians will want to bounce back after they lost their game. Shells are in an amazing form at the moment under Joey O'Brien, and Joey O'Brien's really got Shelbourne where he wants them and how he wants them to play. I mean, there's still a lot of work that Shelbourne needs to do before they can really consider themselves to be up there, for seasons to come. But Bohemians will look at this and think, well, look, they lost their previous game to Drogheda. They didn't do very well, and they knew they couldn't get the job done, and that was to go on and pile pressure on Shamrock Rovers. Look, I think Bohemians, if they was to go on and lose this game against Shelbourne, you would clearly see that their title challenge is completely done, unless there's a miracle and Bowes come out of nowhere and really blow Shelbourne away and then I think we'll say that they're in the title race. But I think the gap is still is way too big at the moment to really sit down and say that that basically Bowes can really go on and really challenge. They are a good listen. Bohemians are a fantastic side. We haven't seen the best of James Taylor as yet. I mean, even though yes, he has scored only one goal, we're seeing the best of Tierney and Rooney and Clark, Denvoy and so on. We're seeing that. We're seeing how good they are, but they have to show it on the pitch. They have to show that they really want to be challengers. I want to see Bohemians really being that Bohemians of old that is not giving up at all. Shelbourne, they're in Europe. They want to have a European run this year. So, I mean, Shelbourne will look very confident going into this game. But Bohemians will know that this game is a must-win for them to really keep up the pace in the title race. Because if they don't, then you could just hand the League of Ireland title to Shamrock Rovers right now and just say that they are champions right now, and goodbye to Bohemians challenging for the title.
Perfect. Yeah. we'll just drive on to the next game. So that's Galway United against Shamrock Rovers. Arguably champions elect at this early stage of the season. Shamrock Rovers travel to an all out of form Galway United, who've lost the last 4 games in a row. Surely Shamrock Rovers win here, you'd imagine, or can John Caulfield turn Galway season around? I mean, if they could pick up a win here, it would be a sensational statement. Now, Shamrock Rovers don't like trips out to the west. You know, they've lost to Sligo now a few times, I think. So, yeah, it's not. Who knows? Like, they don't like trips out to the west, but I surely if Shamrock Rovers turn up here, there's only one result. And yeah, this could be a real morale breaker, make or break moment for Galway United. Because if they get caught in a relegation playoff place, I think they could be really in trouble, whether they're facing someone like Bray or someone like Cove Ramblers. They could really be in trouble. So they're going to want to avoid that. I'm sure Johnny C will be really, stepping them up this week now and making sure that they get a decent result. But yeah, I see nothing else than honestly a 3-0 win for Shamrock Rovers. And I hope I'm right, because Galway are like our last hope of salvaging anything out of the season right now. It would be John Caulfield's last gift to us if he could bring them down. But anyway, I'll go to Cornell there. How do you see this one going?
How I see it going, look, I think this is a Shamrock Rovers win all over it. As for Galway United, they haven't been in great form this season. They've really struggled without Moses Dyer. We haven't seen the very best of Shaw, despite with all the hype around him. To him to be that main striker to get them the goals, we expect him to score. But look, I think this is an opportunity for Shamrock Rovers to go even more further in front at the top of the League of Ireland table, for them to increase their point tally and to really go on and to really say that the title is in their grasp for them to go on and win. Galway United will want to win this game against Shamrock Rovers to have any chance of keeping away from the relegation playoff places, because if they enter it and they come up against a Cole or a Bray, it won't be easy because of the amazing form that Bray and Kolb have been in the first division. So they'll want to avoid being in that situation. But if they can get a win against Shamrock Rovers, I think this will really boost their confidence. And I think Caulfield, will look at this and say, look, this is a game that we have to win and to avoid being in the playoff relegation fight. But look, I think Caulfield will know that it's a must-win game. If they don't win it, then you can clearly see that I think they will be in a fight for their lives, or worse, they could be relegated. As for Shamrock Rovers, it's an opportunity for them to go on and win that game and increase their points tally. So I think definitely a Shamrock Rovers win.
Fair enough. The next game we have is St. Pat's against Sligo Rovers. The final game of the weekend sees St. Pat's take on Sligo at Richmond Park. How much of a chance would you give Sligo Rovers of getting out of the relegation playoff and leapfrogging Galway? Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I do think Pats are looking impressive recently in Europe, domestically and continentally. So yeah, it's I'm looking forward to this one, actually, the outcome. Sligo had such a poor start to the season that they can't really afford to keep dropping points. And I know they're up against good, strong sides, but they can't afford to drop much more points if they do want to leapfrog Galway, So yeah, it's going to be an exhilarating one. Could be close. I'm going to say St. Pat's 3, Sligo Rovers 2. That's my final prediction. Cornell, this is our final game before our league predictions, so make sure you have them ready. And so go ahead.
My predictions for the St. Pat's versus Sligo game is that I think this is going to be a very, very close game, because St. Pat's have been in amazing form in Europe and in the league this season. Yes, there's been times where they have dropped off and they haven't got points, and we've been very, very critical of them. But I think St. Pat's will go into this game with full belief, full confidence, full efforts, full everything. As for Sligo, I think, look, listen, they are a very, very good side. You know, they've brought in some amazing signings. John Russell has really made sure that that Sligo are gonna give everything that they've got, everything that they're supposed to give to this game. And look, I mean, we all know about Eldin, we all know about Hackey. They are in amazing form. But honestly, I think it's going to be a very, very, very close game. So it won't be surprising if I think it's going to be a draw for me. So I think 2-2.
2-2. Okay, interesting. Very good. Right. We'll move on to our final league table predictions. So currently as the league stands, now I'm going off memory here, so I could be slightly wrong. We've got Shamrock Rovers in the top. We've got I'm going to say Bohemians second, Derry third, with Drogheda fourth, St. Pat's fifth, Shelburne sixth, Waterford seventh, Galway eighth, Sligo ninth, and Cork City 10th. That's where I think the league is, how I think the league is looking currently.
Mhm.
So yeah, we'll go to Cornell first. What's your predictions for as we close out the season?
It was a very, very tough decision. I had to swap it round at times and look at their form and see how well the teams have been doing and what teams haven't been doing very well. So what I've gone with for the final league table prediction is that Shamrock Rovers will finish first and win the League of Ireland title, because you can clearly say the title is done, and Shamrock Rovers will win their 5th consecutive League of Ireland title. Second place, I've gone with Derry City, because I think Derry City will overtake Bohemians and push Shamrock Rovers to the absolute limit. And I think especially with the quality that Derry City have. Third, I've gone with Bohemians, because I think if they can't find their form and they can't find their feet, I think third place and probably a rate challenging for Europe, I think would be ideal for them. So I think third. Fourth, I've gone with Drogba, because they really want to be in Europe, and they really want to be competing in European football and playing European football after being kicked out of the out of Europe. So definitely fourth for Drogba. I've gone with St. Pat's to finish fifth, because I think they'll definitely get into Europe as well, and really do their absolute best. So definitely fifth for St. Pat's. I've gone sixth for Shells. Definitely will finish there, despite that they've been in very good form. But I think once O'Brien knows his starting 11 and knows who his best 11 is, then I think we'll see the very best of Shells. Seventh, mid-table Waterford. I think definitely Waterford, I think will finish seventh. I think there's a lot of work for John Coleman to do, to find out who is best 11 and more about this about Waterford as a team. I've gone with Sligo to finish in eighth. I think this is another opportunity for John Russell to really work out what's best for Sligo. And look, listen, they are a good side, like I've been saying, and I think they deserve to finish in a mid-table position. So definitely 8 for Sligo. Galway United to finish 9th, because obviously if they can't find a feet, I think it's real trouble for them. So a 9th finish for Galway United. And lastly, and I can't believe I'm saying it, but 10th place for Cork City, which is not the best position, but I think if they can't find their form properly and they can't, and Nash doesn't know his starting 11 or he doesn't get any wins together, I think it's real trouble for Cork City. So that's my prediction for the League of Ireland table.
Perfect. So you've changed your mind on Sligo being European contenders.
Yeah, I just felt like basically, I'm not saying I would have wanted them. It would be nice for them to be in Europe. I think it would be nice for them to be in the European places, but I think until like John Russell gets more depth and more squad depth into the Sligo team, I think then they'll start kicking for seasons to come. But yeah, I think eighth is the best position. But I mean, if they do raise expectations, and I think they do go in it, I'll be very, very pleased for them. But look, I think eighth place is the best position for them.
Great stuff. Yeah, I know. I'll just run through my predictions there. They're not too dissimilar to yours, actually. So look, Shamrock Rovers, I don't think there's a League of Ireland fan who would disagree with that, unless they were like a deluded Bows fan. Second, I've put Bohemians. I do think they'll have enough to get second place. Third, I'm actually gonna go a little controversial here and say Drogheda get third. I think they'll push on and just about scrape third. Fourth, I think Derry will drop off a little bit and finish fourth. Then it's the two lads who we thought were gonna really challenge for the title. I'm gonna go the exact same order as you. Fifth, St. Pat's. Sixth, Shelbourne. I've just been a little bit, tiny bit more impressed with Pat's this year and the fact that they have Stephen Kenny. But at the end of the day, I don't think either of these sides are going to be happy with fifth or sixth. They should be challenging, you know. But that's just the way it goes. Seventh, I'm going to go for Sligo Rovers. Actually, I think Sligo will just about pimp seventh with the form they're on. I think they'll basically they still have a few games to play against the lower sides, and I think they'll pick up near maximum points against all those sides. So yeah, that's how I see that going. Eighth, I think it'll be Waterford. They'll be just about good enough to avoid relegation, but maybe watch out for them next season because they're so inconsistent, in my opinion. Ninth, Galway United. We basically completely agree, Cornell. That's just how I see that going. They're not they haven't been convincing at all over the last little while. And then finally, 10th, it is unfortunately going to have to be Cork City. We just haven't been good enough at all this season. Too many silly losses when we should have done better in games. So yeah, that's the way I see it going. It's very sad, but you know, we seem to have turned into a bit of a yo-yo club. But you know, that's okay too. Well, it's not okay. We're going to have to. We had a good chat with Declan Carey last week about how we can maybe solve these problems. But yeah, that's my predictions. Please let us know in the comments below your predictions, or tweet us at LOI_talk or on Instagram at LOI talk. Please let us know your predictions. We'd absolutely love to know. I don't even want to look at my predictions from the start of the season because I'd say I'm well off any bit of truth. But yeah, we will review that at the end of the season though. Yeah, so thank you. So that kind of brings us to the end of the podcast. I'd like to thank firstly and foremost Rachael Kelly for coming on. She was a fantastic guest. Hopefully we can get more LOI women's players like her in the future. And also my friend Cornell Bruman, and of course Luke O'Mahony as well, the Cub, carry the Cub. So yeah, that's going to bring us to the end. Thank you all so much for watching. Slán go fóill, Carja. That means goodbye, friends. Right, see you soon.
See you soon.